آدم إدريس نوح صالح إبراهيم لوط إسماعيل إسحاق يعقوب يوسف أيوب شعيب موسى هارون ذو الكفل داود سليمان إلياس اليسع يونس زكريا يحيى عيسى والآخر الختم الأنبياء محمد المصطفى.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على إمام المتقين وقائد المجاهدين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear brothers and sisters, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today inshallah in Khawater AlNoor we're going to start the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, peace be upon him. Sayyidina Ibrahim was called Abu al-Anbiya, the father of all prophets. This is one of his titles. He was given so many titles by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Sunnah. We'll see throughout the whole story inshallah. Every time I will be mentioning one of his titles. Today we're talking about the father of all prophets, the father of all Anbiya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, وَجَعَلْنَا فِي ذُرِّيَّتِهِ النُّبُوَّةِ. We made all prophets from the descendant of Abraham. We made all prophet out of his descendant. So he is the father of all prophets. Since Abraham till all the way to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, all prophets were from his descendants. So we have two branches, like the branch of Ishmael and the branch of Isaac. All prophets, with no exceptions, from the branch of Isaac, except Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is from the branch of Ishmael. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Abraham was Khalilur Rahman. This is one of the titles about Abraham. He's Khalilur Rahman. Khalilur Rahman means the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Habibullah. The most beloved one, the most beloved prophet to Allah is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Kalimullah is Musa, and Musa is the one who speaks with God. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was the Khalilur Rahman. So inshallah today we're talking about Khalilur Rahman. The story of Abraham is so rich. He was mentioned in 73 locations in the Qur'an and in 25 surahs of the Qur'an. He is the second mentioned prophet in the Qur'an. We all know that Moses alayhi salam, he is the most mentioned prophet in the Qur'an. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, كَادَ الْقُرْآنَ أَنْ يَكُونَ مُوسَى. Qur'an was almost about Moses. So all the stories about those children of Bani Israel and about Musa, what he did with Fir'aun and what he did in such and such place, and what he did with other people, with the magicians. And so it's almost the whole Qur'an. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said it was almost about Moses. Then the second mentioned prophet is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Why all these stories in the Qur'an, by the way? The best way to educate and to teach people is through the form of story. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who knows about us, and He knows that human being, the best way to taught human being, to teach human being is what? Is to tell them the story, so they will get the lessons of the story. Basically, I'm not going to mention the whole story of Abraham, as I mentioned before, when I was talking about Sayyidina Shu'aib, and I was covering Hud and Saleh. It's min qisas al-Qur'an. It's not the stories of the Prophet in the Qur'an. It is from the stories, all the lessons. There is so many details. I'm gonna avoid the very small details, but I'm gonna talk about things that we must know, because there is so many lessons about these things. The story of Abraham is divided in 5 sections, or at least I'm going to divide them in 5 sections. Maybe I will try to do them in 5 different halaqah or episodes. The first section is his da'wah. All the 5 sections is da'wah actually. He is one of the du'at, the great du'at in the history of humanity. Everywhere he goes, he make da'wah. So the first section of his story is his da'wah with his father, when he would preach with his father. The second section is when he preached with his people, the people of Babylon. He was born and raised in Babylon, which is Babel, and he's among the Chaldeans. He was not an Arab, he was among the Chaldeans. His son Ishmael, some people get confused that his son Ishmael is an Arab. How come he's not Arab? Actually, his son Ishmael was not an Arab. He was raised by Jurhum, a tribe from Saudi Arabia in Mecca, and they speak Arabic, so that's why Ishmael has an Arabic tongue, speaks in Arabic, but he was not originally an Arab, he was originally from the Chaldeans. They used to live in Babylon, which is now called al-Iraq, or the area that has al-Baghdad and al-Basra and al-Kufa during the time of the Sahaba and the Salaf. It used to be called during the time of Ibrahim Babylon. So he was born and raised on that area. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an about Abraham, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا. And mention in the book Abraham. He was a man of truth and he was a prophet. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِي. Listen to this verse. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِي لِمَا تَعْبُدْ مَا لَا يَسْمَعْ وَلَا يَرَى وَلَا يُغْنِي عَنْكَ شَيْئًا. When he said to his dad, when he said to his father, "Oh my dad, why do you worship? Why do you worship that which hears not, sees not, and will not benefit you in any way? Will not do you any good. Doesn't see, doesn't hear, and will not do you any good." So he's talking to his dad in a logic way. Not only that, and he said, remember this, he said, "Ya abati." What is the abati? We don't say in Arabic, "Ya abati." We say in Arabic, "Ya abi," "Ya ummi." What is Ya abati? Ya abati is an expression of total respect. It's like saying, "Oh my beloved dear father, you are the most respected one to me." So he's talking to him in a way of, so he has so much mercy toward his father. And he is approaching his father. This is a situation of making da'wah. When you make da'wah with your father, with your relative, with anyone, you should approach others in a beautiful way. And this is why all these stories were mentioned in the Qur'an, so the Prophet ﷺ can learn from. And I will tell you now, the Prophet ﷺ used to apply what he learned from the stories of Moses and Abraham. The Prophet ﷺ did the same thing with Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl is the worst enemy in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, this is mentioned in Sirah, and I'm going to mention this in Sirah, I'm not going to go in details, but I'm trying to relate, I'm trying to connect things. From the story of Abraham, the Prophet ﷺ learned this. From the story of Moses, the Prophet ﷺ learned that. So every time I have something as a connection, I will connect it. So the Prophet ﷺ went to Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl in Arabic means the father of what? The father of ignorance. This is what the Muslims used to call Abu Jahl, labeled him the father of ignorance. But the kuffar side, the Quraysh, the disbeliever side, they used to call him completely the opposite. They used to call him the father of wisdom, Abu al-Hakam. And his real name was Amr ibn Hisham, actually. He was not this or that. His real name was Amr ibn Hisham. So the Prophet ﷺ went to approach him to make da'wah with him. So he went all the way to his house and he knocked on the door. And Abu Jahl, la'natullah alayh, he opened the door. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ama ana al-awan ya Aba al-Hakam an tuslim?" Isn't time yet, O father of wisdom, is to become a Muslim? See here, the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslim used to call him a father of ignorance. But he's now, this is a situation of da'wah. You're approaching him to make da'wah. You're not going to tell him a father of ignorance. So he's the Prophet ﷺ telling him, "O father of wisdom." And look what is the reaction of Abu Jahl. This is completely, absolutely, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to teach all prophets. When you approach someone, da'wah, you have to be nice. You have to be nice actually in all the time. Not just when you make da'wah. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ say. Don't you, isn't time yet to become Muslim? Listen what Abu Jahl told the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Ya Muhammad." That's the first time he told him, "Ya Muhammad." Usually the kuffar used to curse Muhammad ﷺ and say, "Ya Muzammam." Muhammad means the praised one. Muzammam means the low one. So when the Prophet ﷺ talked to him nicely, so Abu Jahl reacted nicely. He said, "Oh Muhammad, I know you are doing this for the sake of your Lord, not for my sake. And if you want me to be witness on the day of judgment that you did deliver the message to me, I will, but just leave me alone." See what he said? So anyway, this was the reaction of Abu Jahl towards a nice way of da'wah from Muhammad ﷺ. The same thing here, not only that, even Moses, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Moses and Harun, اذهبا إلى فرعون, go to Fir'aun, وقولوا له قولا لينا, and talk to him nicely and gently. Fir'aun, the worst enemy of humanity, the symbol of zulm, the symbol of transgression. And the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering Moses and his brother just to talk to him nicely and gently. This is the way of da'wah, brothers and sisters. We should never ever being tough to others. During the time of Harun al-Rashid, a man came to him and he said, Ya Harun. Harun was one of the caliphs during the time of the Abbasi Empire. So a man came to him and said, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, O Prince of Believer, I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to be tough. One of the Bedouins, I'm going to be tough with you, so please be patient. So Harun said, no, don't be tough to me. You are not better than Moses and I'm not worse than Fir'aun. So you're not better than Moses. You're not a Nabi. And I'm not worse than Fir'aun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Moses to be nice. So why you would want to be nice to me? So basically the rule is to be nice, brothers and sisters. And this is a da'wah. This is Ibrahim going to his dad. And not only his da'wah, he is his dad. He's told him, say, Ya Abadi. Look at the word, Ya Abadi, oh my dear beloved, the most respected person to me, have so much mercy in his heart toward his dad. Why you worship that which he is not and sees not and cannot do you any favor, cannot do you any good, cannot benefit you in any way, cannot avail you in any way. So he's talking to his father this way. That was in Surah Maryam. Then the following ayah, immediately he said to him, يا أبتي إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني أهدك صراطا سويا. He said, oh my dad, there has come to me of knowledge that has not come to you. There has come to me of knowledge that has not come to you. So follow me and I will guide you to the straight path. Listen to this verse. He's telling his dad to follow him. That's kind of weird, odd. Most of the time, usually, the dad or the father will tell the kids and the children to follow him. Do that way. Follow me. Do this. And the teacher will tell the student to follow him. To follow his way. And the uncle will say the same thing to his nephews. And the aunt will say to their nieces. So the old or the grown-up will order the young ones to follow them. But that was a unique situation here. Abraham was young and talking to his dad. What is the justification? This is the question here. What is the justification of a young man like Abraham alayhi salam telling his dad, his father, to follow him? What is the justification? The answer is, جاءني من العلم. The justification is, there has come to me of knowledge that has not come to you. I have the knowledge, you don't. I have the knowledge and the wisdom, but you don't. That's why you should follow me. So it has nothing to do with age, brothers and sisters. It has nothing to do with the social classes or the high classes people in the society or the community should lead. It has nothing to do with the most rich person who should lead the poor guys. It has nothing to do with the one who's physically strong should lead. It has nothing to do with this, brothers and sisters. It has to do with what? With the knowledge. That's why in the history of humanity, the most ever knowledgeable people, the best ever leaders in human history are the most knowledgeable. David, Solomon, Dhul Qarnayn, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And after Muhammad, the Sahaba, the Khulafa, who? Umar and Abu Bakr and Uthman and Ali. And after that, the Tabi'een, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. The best ever leaders are the ones who has the knowledge, brothers and sisters. So it has nothing to do with age. Even during the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is again a connection between the Prophet ﷺ and the story of Ibrahim. Prophet ﷺ, during the Battle of Tabuk, he hired Usama ibn Zayd. He was 17 years old. I think Tabuk, yeah, the Battle of Tabuk, to be the leader. He was the Amir. And who was in the army? Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali. So it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with like, let's say, you want to hire a leader on a technical team. So the best, the one that has the most IT, the information technology, information knowledge, he should be the leader. You are combining a team or making a team of doctors. So the one who has the knowledge in medicine, should be the leader. The same thing with engineer. So it has to do with the knowledge in a certain field should be the leader, not the one who is older, not the one who's from a certain social class or whatever. So it has to do with the knowledge. And this is from the story of Ibrahim, and this is in the Qur'an, and this is throughout the whole Qur'an and the Sunnah. The other thing that most people are I'm kind of confused, brothers and sisters, about the leaders, and this is something I disagree with most of the people when they say, "Oh, those corrupted leaders, they are the problem. They are the problem, the main problem. The corrupted leaders are the main problem in this time, in this age. Look at during the time of Ibrahim and the time of Muhammad, they were great leaders." This is, I can say yes, true or false. Who is the corrupted leaders that we have nowadays, brothers and sisters? He's one among us. So if he's a corrupted leader, where is he coming from? He's not coming from the jinn, and he's not coming from the angels. He was a human being like us, and he's among us, and he was elected by either by us or let's say by cheating or whatever. But because he's coming from us, if he's corrupt, if we are corrupted, so the leaders were going to be corrupted. It's absolutely, it's an equation. If the people are corrupted, the other side of the equation is corrupted. That's it. It's very simple. It's simple as that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, Surah Al-Rum, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Corruption appeared in land and sea because of what the hand of people have earned. He didn't say because of what the hand of leaders have earned. It is the people. The corruption is the people, and that's why the leaders are corrupted. If the people are good, the leaders comes from the leaders will be good. It is simple like that. Look at the Qur'an, brothers and sisters, in the story of Moses. When he came, wait a minute, I don't want to get out of the, let's go back to the story of Abraham. So inshallah, when I start talking about Moses, we'll mention this. So he told his dad this, and he told him that these are idols that is not going to benefit you, and just follow me, I will guide you to the straight path. What was the reaction of Abraham's father? Some people say Abraham's father was Azar. And some people say that Azar, no, was not his dad, it was his uncle, and then his dad died, and he has to take care of him, so he considered him like his uncle, and his name was Azar. It doesn't matter. These are the details, the insignificant detail that doesn't matter his father, or he was originally his uncle and became his father. It doesn't matter, brother and sister. In Islam, we just don't leave the main subject, don't leave the main lesson, and concentrate in the trivial, insignificant points. So it doesn't matter, Moses split the Red Sea or the Mediterranean Sea, it doesn't matter, it's not going to make any difference. It doesn't matter, brothers and sisters, if the people of the cave were 6 or 7 or 8, it doesn't matter. So what really matters is the lesson. So here, Abraham, the lesson is what? Is ordering, or not ordering, I'm sorry, is advising his dad to follow him because of the knowledge he has. What was the reaction of his dad? Listen to this. قال أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم لئن لم تنتهي لأرجمنك واهجرني مليا. Do you reject my gods, O Abraham? Do you reject my God? Do you reject my God, O Abraham? If you stop not, I will indeed stone you. So get away from me before I punish you. So he's telling him, if you stop not, if you don't stop, we are not going to quit making fun of my gods, I will indeed stone you. Basically, I'm going to kill you. So get away from me safely. It's like basically telling him, get away from my face now. Otherwise, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to punish you. That was the reaction of Abraham's father to him. That's the conversation. The whole conversation happened in Surah number 19. This is Surah Maryam. So for a father to tell his son, I'm going to kill you, that's an odd. That's very weird. It never happened. But that tells you how ugly the relationship could be when it comes to kufr and iman. Kufr against iman. Believe and disbelieve. At how ugly the relationship could be if father want to kill his son. Again, a great lesson, the reaction of Abraham to his father's statement. Listen to the reaction. What is the reply of Abraham to his father's statement? His father telling him, I'm going to kill you. Listen to it. He said, Abraham, قال سلام عليك سأستغفر لك ربي سلام عليك سأستغفر لك ربي إنه كان بي حفيا. He said, peace be upon him. peace be upon you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you. He's ever to me most gracious. The Lord is so nice to me, and He might forgive you. So he's telling him again, listen to the reply. Salamun alayk. So he's just telling him, I'm going to kill you. So he says, Salamun alayk, peace be upon you. I will ask your Lord, my Lord, basically my and your, my Lord to forgive you. He's ever to me most gracious. وَأَعْتَزِلَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And I will keep myself away. I will turn myself away from you and from those whom you invoke beside Allah. عسى ألا أكون بدعاء ربي شقيا. Hoping that I shall not be unblessed in my invocation to my Lord. Subhanallah, look at this. It's a great lesson from this. So his dad want to kill him, but we are ordered, no matter what happened from our fathers, our parents, nice and gentle reaction. Salamun alayk. Peace be upon you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you. He is ever to me most gracious. And what is the action? He said, this is what his statement, but he's going to do an action. There is an action based on what his dad is telling him. What is the action of Abraham? What he's going to do? So he's going to, so he's going to disassociate himself, get himself away, turn himself away from this belief. And what you invoke beside Allah. So he's going to keep himself away. He didn't say, I'm going to leave home and run away. I'm going to leave this city. I hate this city. I hate you. I hate the family. I hate the house. I'm not going to live with you. He never said that. He just said, Salaam alaikum. I will ask your Lord my Lord to forgive you, but he's going to stay. He's going to stay home. But inside himself, he's disassociating himself. He's just keeping himself away. He's isolating himself. فكريا, he is isolating himself. They call it in fiqh عزلة شعورية. It doesn't matter what they call it, like separating yourself from inside. Keep your identity. Okay, I'm going to worship Allah and I'm going to follow my own beliefs, but I'm still part of the society. I'm still part of the community. I will try to fix the community. I will try, because if you separate yourself and you worship Allah by yourself, you are only benefiting yourself. But if you stay with the community, if you stay with the society, if you stay with the city or the wherever you are, you're benefiting the general public, rather than benefiting yourself. So it's better to stay within the community, but still when prayer time comes, I'm going to go pray. When fasting Ramadan, month of Ramadan, when Ramadan comes, I'm going to fast Ramadan. Nobody's going to stop me from doing that. So why you want to leave? Just stay with your community, stay with the people, and make da'wah with, no matter what, with your parent. They are Muslim, they are non-Muslim, they are atheists, they are idolaters, they worship the fire, they worship the cow. It doesn't matter. They are still their parent and they still have rights on you. This is what Abraham was telling his dad. The question is, and so many people are confused in this, are we allowed to ask Allah to forgive disbelievers? This is kind of, wallahi, subhanallah, there's so many people are confused. I'm not confused in this. I'm not confused in this because there is rules. If you look at the rule, the main rule, you're not going to be confused. We are allowed to make dua for the non-believers, the non-Muslims, or the non-believers, or the atheists, or whatever, whoever is on the face of the earth walking and alive. As long as he's alive, we are allowed to make dua for him. Oh Allah, may Allah guide him. Oh Allah, may Allah cure him. Oh Allah, may Allah make him doing this or that. I am allowed to make dua to any disbeliever. Until if they die as a disbeliever. That's a problem here. You cannot make dua for someone who died as a disbeliever. And listen to this. The verse in the Qur'an is very clear. In the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كَانَ اسْتِغْفَارُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ لِأَبِيهِ إِلَّا عَنْ مَوْعِدَةٍ وَعَدَهَا إِيَّاهُ فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ أَنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ لِلَّهِ تَبَرَّأَ مِنْهُ. And the forgiveness that Abraham asked his Lord for his dad was only for a promise that he promised his dad. Abraham asked Allah to forgive his dad because of a promise that he made to his dad. But when it's clear to him, listen to the rest of the verse, the second part of it. But when it's clear to him that he's the enemy of Allah, he disassociates himself from him. Inna Ibrahim awahun halim. Verily, Abraham is awah and forbearing. What does awah mean? Awah is the one who's in pain when somebody else is in pain. It's not sympathy. It's much more than sympathy. Like, somebody, your neighbor is having a problem, and say you go over there and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and this and that. That's called you are sympathizing with him. When some people have problems, you go and sympathize with the people of Palestine. You are sympathizing with. That's sympathy. Awah is much more than that. Awah is you feel the pain. So Abraham used to feel the pain when somebody's in pain. So that is his dad now. And he has so much mercy towards his dad and his people. So he said, I will make dua for you. But when it's clear to him that his dad was the enemy of Allah, he disassociated himself from him. When it was clear to him, how it was clear to him? After the death of his father. When his dad died. Now it's clear to him. He died as a disbeliever. So that's it. It's over. And this is the connection here with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When his uncle died, Abu Talib, it's over. He was a mushrik. And he was making dua to him all the time. May Allah guide him, may Allah guide him, may Allah guide him. But when he died, it's over. He died already. And let me conclude with this. It's again a great connection between what happened with Abraham and his father and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his parents. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his way from Mecca to Medina, used to stop on a place in a spot over there, and he started crying. And the Sahaba don't know what's going on. And they start crying, the Sahaba, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is crying. They thought something big happened, something great happened. So in their way back, he did the same thing. And in another trip, he did the same thing. So Umar ibn al-Khattab came to him and said, "O Prophet of Allah, why you're doing this? Every time we're passing by this spot and you stay there and you cry." He said, "This is my grave. This is the grave of my mother. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to permit me, to give me permission to visit the grave, and He allowed me. But I asked Him to forgive her. He did not allow me to ask forgiveness for my mother. So that's why I was crying out of mercy." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا كَانَ لِلنَّبِيِّ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أن يستغفروا للمشركين بعد أن تبين لهم أنهم أصحاب الجحيم. I don't remember. This is the verse in Surah Tawbah, verse 112 or 113. It's not fitting for a prophet and the believers to ask forgiveness for the disbelievers after it's clear to them that they are among the dwellers of hellfire. So it's not fitting. You cannot. After it's clear, how it's clear? When they die. As long as they are alive, it's not clear completely, because it's a potential Muslim. Anytime they can become. So you can make dua to anyone on the face of the earth. It's no confusion. No confusion, brothers and sisters. There is another story about the Prophet ﷺ, and this is actually it's supplementary evidence. It's not primary evidence. Is the verse from the Qur'an 113 in Surah Al-Tawbah, and the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he visited the grave of his mom. Then another supplementary evidence, which is the hadith da'if. And hadith da'if, we are allowed to use hadith da'if, brothers and sisters. Hadith da'if doesn't mean it's a lie. It's not. It's a lie, or it didn't happen. It did happen, but the chain of narrator might be one or two, and the chain of narrators are weak. That doesn't mean the fabricated hadith, we are not allowed to use it. But the hadith da'if, we are allowed to use it. But it's recommended to use it as supplementary evidence if it's supporting something that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala approved in the Qur'an and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam approved in the Sunnah. And that was approved already, that we are not allowed to make dua when it's clear to us. So there is a hadith da'if that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a man came to him and said, "O Prophet of Allah, where is my dad? Where is my father?" So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Your father is in hell." So the man, he was a Bedouin, so he left, and he was angry, and he left. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ruddu, bring him back." So they brought him back, the Sahaba brought him back. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, "Your father and my father is in hell." So it's clear from all these stories that the parents of the Prophet ﷺ, he's not allowed to make dua for them because they are disbelievers. Anyway, that was the first part of the story of Abraham with his dad, his da'wah with his dad. In the second halaqah, inshallah, in the second section, we'll talk about his story with the people of Babylon, the people, his own people, and we'll see what kind of techniques he used and strategies, and what was the reaction of his people. جزاكم الله خير for listening. May Allah make us among those who listen to the speech and follow the best of it. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
آدم إدريس نوح صالح إبراهيم لوط إسماعيل إسحاق يعقوب يوسف أيوب شعيب موسى هارون ذو الكفل داود سليمان إلياس اليسع يونس زكريا يحيى عيسى والآخر الخاتم الأنبياء محمد المصطفى.